Goeiemorgen, good morning.
Môre.
You know Mariska, my wife. We're sitting in our new office. First time ever we've been broadcasting from this office. We've broadcasted with a lot of banners behind because you were not allowed to see how unruly it looked. But they have finished my office, and so I'm glad to say that has happened, and it doesn't look bad at all.
It's good.
Yeah, this morning we're talking about the bitter and
The ups and the downs of
of
immigration.
immigration, yeah, because it's not always as good as I make it sound. So,
Yes, no, it is as good as it sounds.
yeah.
But and I think what we want to focus on is a little bit more of what it was like when we just first got here, what was good and what was bad, and now that we've been here for a few years, what is good now and what is not so good now. Because I think when you first immigrate, the whole idea of being in a new country,
Oh
everything
yeah,
is just,
yeah.
oh yes, everything is
It's
just
just
brilliant.
wow, and you
Yeah.
check this beautiful flowers, and oh, check the cows, and oh, it's just wonderful. And then it's what you can call a honeymoon phase. Is that right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Before we go on, in about 20 minutes time, we're going to make a massive announcement. So stay tuned for that.
Okay.
I hope I don't give too much away.
It's not so massive. It's just something.
It's big. It's big.
Um. Okay. So, what do you think when we first arrived in New Zealand? I think the big down for me was not actually coming to being in New Zealand. It was more the journey that I had to get here. That was very difficult for me. So that was a big down for me. But once we got here, I think everything was just ups for a while.
Let me get you a bit more into the
Thank you.
camera.
Yeah. Firstly, the country is so beautiful. Everything is beautiful. Everything is green.
And clean.
Yeah,
It's clean.
it's clean. It's relaxed, and I mean the safety. You can't get around it. It's just it's still one of the most
And that's still,
ups. It's the big up is the safety.
yeah, the safety factor is still something that really triggers us sometimes. I mean, you would think, oh, whoa, should I go in there? And you think, oh, what's
No.
going to happen?
And
Let's just do
what
it.
I found is even some of the women tells me who has small children, it's like the children can feel that they're safe. Where in South Africa, when they went to a park or whatever, the kids would hang around them all the time. And then the one lady the other day said, all of a sudden, it's they just took off and ran to the park, not even saying, "Mom, I'm going to the park," or
Yeah.
"Can I run before you?" or whatever. It's like they feel that they're safe.
All right,
Which
let's
is
talk about
really
the
nice.
downs. It's a bad thing.
Okay, when we got here, what was down?
Die slechte dinge.
What was down for you when we got here?
When we arrived here, the worst thing, I mean, I come from Cape Town. My average speed was normally about 160 kilometers an hour. That's on a slow day. And suddenly I had to sit at 30 kilometers an hour through a suburb. That was horrendous. It was
Yeah.
breaking me.
I
to the
think
core.
that it depends on it's from person to person. Because
Yeah.
for me that was a up. For you it was a down.
In the beginning, it was for me a massive down, and I thought I will get nowhere.
Yeah.
I actually thought, geez, I will get nowhere. I have to leave about half an hour earlier for every. These days, I like it.
Okay.
I actually like sitting at 30 kilometers an hour in the traffic or without traffic through a suburb because it gives me a chance to look at the people. Now I can see the people. I can see the guys' boats. I can see the houses.
Yeah. I never liked speeding.
Yeah.
And I don't like people on my tail all the time. So
Yeah,
for me,
the way
it's
we
fine.
drove in Cape Town,
Yeah.
on the way you guys drive in South Africa as well, you know it's big speed.
Yeah,
It's
well,
no-
I must say the Kiwis don't drive that well.
that's a fact. So you got to have.
You have to have eyes all around
You don't
your
need to
head.
watch out for taxis. You got to watch out for
Yeah,
Kiwis.
no, they can't drive very well. Another thing that was done was converting all the time.
In the beginning, yep.
In the beginning, yeah. I think it's also because we're still living on our South African rand.
Yeah.
So we had to convert everything. And I thought when we got here, what did we get ourselves into?
And
We're not going to be able to live in
At
this
that
country.
stage, it was we gave 10 rand for one Kiwi dollar. Now it's about nearly 12 rand for one Kiwi dollar. So it's even worse now. So if
Yeah.
you are coming soon, it's even you are going to find it worse than anything else. So
Yeah, because before you come, what we did is we looked on Google. We Googled what a bread cost, what milk cost, whatever, and then you've got this idea in your head. But when you get here, it's a little bit
we actually
different.
were here in 2016 and traveled through the country and went into Pack and Save and look at all the prices. Forgetting that you're earning Kiwi dollars. Big difference because you're not earning rands. When 2016, when we visited, we were earning uh, rands and paying in Kiwi dollars. Now we're earning Kiwi dollars and paying in Kiwi dollars.
Makes a big
Yep.
difference. Yeah.
Somebody gave me a price of something that I bought yesterday, and when the guy told me the price, immediately I thought I would have never paid, say, let's say 800 or 900 rand in South Africa for that, but it didn't shock me anymore. So
Yeah.
yes, I did convert yesterday, and it was probably not the right thing to do, but it didn't worry me. It really didn't worry me. I just thought, wow, I would never have paid that for that thing in South Africa. It would have been half the price.
Yeah.
So,
Being here for a while now, I don't convert.
mm,
I actually never really did. It's just in the very beginning that I converted, but I don't do that anymore. Otherwise, you're really not
oh
going
well,
to
you're
buy
spending my
anything.
money.
No, I'm not. What
Don't,
else
don't
was
convert my money.
what else was it down for you?
Um, down for me was the speed that stuff got done. That wasn't
In the
in the
beginning,
beginning
it was
was
yeah.
a down for me.
You used to when you find someone, they send out 3 or 4 guys and they come and do
Come
the
and do this
job.
job, and if you can't find one guy to do it now, you get somebody else to do it now, and everything always in my life had to be happening now because if I made up my mind to do something weird, then I don't have the time to wait for 3 or 4 weeks. But now I do understand why it's happening. It took me a
Yes.
while to get to that point. In New Zealand, you don't get. Let's talk, for instance, the floors they're putting in. We had laminated flooring put in the whole of the bottom of the house, massive area, I think, 160 square
Yeah.
meters or something like that. And I could only do it in 3 weeks' time. 3 weeks came, one guy rocked up. That guy worked for a whole week
On his
on his
own.
knees,
Yeah.
on his own, every day. He didn't have one guy helping. Not one other person was involved, him alone, and he did a brilliant job. So these days, I do understand why it takes a bit longer to get the stuff done. I do understand. But at the end of the day, this guy was making good money. He was earning a living wage, and, well, good on him.
Yeah.
So,
It's the same with the we want to put in new kitchen cupboards. We got a few quotes. All of them could only help us in 2 months' time. Everyone is like 8 weeks.
yeah.
We've got this 8-week thing in New Zealand, and the guy that's going to do it for us can only start next week, which is about 8 weeks.
So we hope he's not delayed. So.
Yeah, but it's only him.
Yeah.
It's only the one guy that's going to do the whole kitchen. So, but you get used to it, and it's actually not that bad. You just have to learn to be a little bit relaxed about
Kiwi
it.
land learns you to relax, point one, and it learns you patience.
Yes.
Is that the right?
Yes.
Am I hitting the ball in the park?
You getting better with the patience.
I always
part.
struggled with the patience part. We do the deal now, we get it done, and blah blah blah. But I'm getting better with that. So for me, to go to a meeting, just to sit and talk to somebody and walk away and not do any business or not even ask for business, some days that even is nice.
Yeah.
Some days that even is nice. So, yeah.
Another down when you get here, after a few weeks, you realize that you're actually alone, which is kind of a down. You've got no one. You don't have any support system.
That catches a lot of people. And
I think so. And I think it's even more difficult for people with children because you don't have anyone that can help you with them. It's only you and your husband and your kids. And another thing is it can be really hard on your relationship with your husband. I always say, and I will always say it again.
because it's hard for you.
No, not for me so hard. But if you don't have a strong relationship, don't even think of immigrating.
Yeah. If you were thinking of getting a divorce in South Africa, probably best thing to get a divorce in South Africa and then come.
Yeah, you're not going to fix
You're
it
not going to make
coming
it.
this side. It is really hard on your relationship because it's only the two of you, and finances are hard, and adjustment is hard. The kids are difficult. I've seen quite a few marriages failing after immigration just because it really is hard and you have to rely on each other. It really is hard. But if you can pull through,
Yeah.
it's good.
It's actually worth a while. I see a few comments here, Larry. Good morning, Larry. Somebody says speed kills. You also know you can get your residence visa revoked if you're convinced in the court of a crime to speeding. I fully
Yes.
understand, and I fully understand now why it's being done at this speed. And having been involved, she was involved in a motor accident. My son was involved in 2 motor accidents already. None of them was at fault. Myself, we drove on the highway and something blew off a truck into my car. So we had 4 accidents in what, 2.5 years' time.
Yeah.
But at
Down
that speed, nobody could have
that
get
someone
hurt.
is mentioning here is the lack of pension and provident fund
Yeah.
from the employers. You don't get any pension funds yet.
It is, and you can't join KiwiSaver until you've got residence. I know some employers put their people on KiwiSaver until IRD get that, and then just pay the money back. But
Yeah.
it's
So
always as with this, it's as if you are in limbo at that stage. You just can't you can't find traction. You can't get any better.
yeah.
Sorry,
And
gotta
I think
shift
that
this
is
camera.
also something that you have to think about before you immigrate.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that pension fund. You're going to have to save up money while you're here for your
Oh yeah,
retirement.
for your retirement, you've got to save money up to buy your first house, and you've got to save money up for your car, and you've got to. There's so much things to do, especially when you arrive, and it could be overwhelming. So
It is overwhelming, but if you compare it to um, your safety and the way you can live in New Zealand,
yeah,
then I think you can't compare it. You
and
can't compare it.
if I may chip in here about finances, we just bought a house now, and if the monthly amount that I'm paying back on this house, I would have been able to buy a house in South Africa for half the price only.
Less.
Yeah, so I would have been able to buy it for this amount, but in New Zealand I could buy double the amount of house for the same monthly repayment. That's all because the interest rates are ridiculously low here. So that's a big plus point for me. I love low interest rates. It's bad
Yeah.
for guys who've got money in the bank. Sorry about that. Earning 0.25%. So
Yeah, no, it makes a big difference, eh?
makes a big
Um,
difference.
and then now that we've been here for a few years,
Yeah.
I think most of the ups are still up.
Yeah.
It's still beautiful. It's still safe. We've got petty crime. There's crime. I
Yeah.
know of a guy from South Africa that had 2 cars stolen. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So,
it happens.
does
It
happen.
happens. And then, of course, the relaxed living.
That's
It
a
is like when you arrive here, you just tone down all that for me. Yeah. Tauranga is becoming very busy. The traffic is becoming more busy. The city center is a little bit more busy. But the
yeah.
way that you live when you're at home is different. The way that you spend your weekends is different. Much more relaxed, much more outdoory. Yeah, you can just enjoy the beauty. That's the thing.
Well, I made the comment the other day on the Facebook page that somebody said they doubt that they can live without looking at Table Mountain every day. And we looked at Table Mountain every day, but it was so dangerous to go up there. You had to organize a group of people to go.
Look, I can say I still miss Table. Table Mountain is beautiful and Cape Town is beautiful, and I miss walking along Sea Point, and I miss the mountain because it is beautiful. So when I watch TV, I watch all these South African programs on TV, and most of them plays off in Cape Town. So I see Table Mountain all the time, and it's still when I see it, it's got a very soft place in my heart, a very special place in my heart. But it's not like you long to be there.
Yeah, and at least I know if tonight you decide to go and walk on the beach, which you can do here, you'll be safe.
Yeah.
That's
So
the biggest concern.
Yeah. I think what you miss, or what I miss from South Africa, is my kids, my parents, the family, and then you kind of you miss the good things, the walk along Sea
Yeah.
Point.
I,
That, but I
I
really
basically
don't.
miss my friends and I miss my family. That's all that I miss from South Africa these days.
Mm.
And this has become my new home. This is where I
Yes.
am going to be.
Mm.
This is probably where I'm going to die one day. I can't see me leaving Kiwi land, so um, this is that.
And then another up in New Zealand and in South Africa. This is really bad, actually. In South Africa, you have to drive the best car, and
Mm.
everyone's in competition with everyone. And where do you live? And is it your own house? I found when we got here, some of the South Africans that are here are still stuck in that kind
Mm.
of mindset. So they'll ask you, so did you buy? No, we're renting.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. You can drive whatever, you can live wherever, in whatever, and it really
And
doesn't make a difference.
I got to give this to the Kiwis. Um, we were down in what is that little place in Auckland? We were down in one of those little bays in Auckland. We had a Airbnb there, and their brother-in-law came there with this latest and newest uh, Jaguar that you can think of. And the first thing this lady told us and said, "Oh, he's a flash Kiwi." So even they don't like flash cars. So
Yeah, no, it
that
doesn't
was
make a
quite
difference.
interesting. Yeah,
And you yourself can be just
you
who
can
you
just be you
are.
are.
You can just
Mm.
relax. You don't have to pretend, not like we were pretending in South Africa, but in South Africa, it's like you've got to live
Yeah.
up to other people's standards.
In South Africa, I did a lot of investment business, and one
Mm,
of the things with the investment business is if you don't arrive with a flashy car at somebody's house or somebody's office, they think, why should I give my money to this guy to invest and he
mm,
can't even drive a decent car? And I mean, those cars cost me the same as what my house payment cost me per month. That
mm.
was the joke. I mean, I was actually losing money buying a flash car. Then,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I've got a car that everybody else in South Africa thought was rubbish. So I've got it. I'm very glad I bought it.
And
So
then in South Africa, we all spoiled with our um, house workers and our
mm,
garden workers.
yeah, that's the other down.
No, it's
And
not
no, it
really.
was a down in the beginning.
We thought it was going to be a down,
Mm.
but not one day have I thought, oh man, I wish Nobusika was here to clean my house. Not once. I sometimes miss Oum
Oh yeah,
to
yeah,
clean the garden
yeah.
because
It's
that
just
is.
because I'm lazy. It's just
But to
because
clean
I'm
the
lazy.
house, it takes you
Um,
1.5 hours and then you're done. So it's
uh,
really not difficult.
in the past 2 weeks, I've hired a stump grinder. I've hired an excavator. Well, stuff I would never have done this. Like I would have phoned somebody to come and do this for me,
Mm.
and just throw money that side, and they come and do this for me. I had the experience of feeling how the stump grinder shakes you. I drove my own excavator
His
for the
body
whole
still
day. I'm
aches.
still aching. I'm probably still aching. So yeah, but that's good. A few quick
Yeah.
questions. Do you recommend getting medical insurance? Yes, I do. Especially now after COVID, the government has fallen behind on the, the, the operations and stuff they need to do. So that's taking a bit longer than normal. Hip replacement takes about a year. So that's just quick on that. Somebody's saying sad that most marriages are failing. It's not all marriages, but some marriages are failing, especially those marriages that came here shaky. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying every marriage in New Zealand is going to fail. That is not what I'm trying to say.
But just be
But
prepared.
be
It's
prepared.
not
If your marriage
easy.
is shaky in South Africa, it's going to be shaken here until the roots are out. So, and then family asking, please explain the working hours, concentrating on period over December to Jan, almost everything closed with just less staff working up and down.
I actually
Most
found,
companies close. Let's say the tradies and those guys close down
yeah,
from
the
about the
building industry
20th of
closes,
December till about the 12th, the 15th of January. That's about when they close down.
but most of the normal shops and stores are
Yeah,
open.
I don't know this year how it's going to be with less visitors, less overseas visitors because our borders are still closed. So
Yeah, the shops will still be
the
open.
shops will still be open, but I was just thinking that they probably would take on less staff. That's the one other thing. But
Yeah,
that's
I
a
don't know. That's the other
drawback
thing
of
in New
COVID.
Zealand. If you go to a clothing
Yeah.
store, whatever, there'll be one person, one lady in the whole store, and she manages the floors, she manages all the customers, she manages the register, she manages everything. So you have to be patient. And the thing is, if she wants to go to the bathroom, she just leaves the shop open. You can shop and go around, and she'll go to the bathroom and come back and help you further. So you have to be patient when you get here.
But this question about in New Zealand to get a pension, I think it's 10 or 15 years after residence. But I'll let Vanita can help us
A
out. there.
pension?
No, we can get pension one of these days.
The Kiwi saver.
No.
What?
It's a Kiwi saver. The government's giving you a pension.
Oh, that pension.
Yeah,
Yes.
that pension. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and that's quite a generous pension. You can actually live off it. So,
Yeah, I think if you've got your own house, if you were able to buy a house, and you can only use
if
that
your
money
house is
to live
down
on,
paid
yeah,
at your pension time, you can really live from that.
from the money
from
that
the money
you
that you
get.
get.
Yeah.
I think it's $2,200 or something per
I
month.
don't really know how
But
much
don't
it
quote
is.
me on that now. Otherwise, I could become somebody could hit me over the head and say I'm lying. All right.
What else was there?
We promised them something big.
Okay, it's not that big. It's just something that
it's
I want to
big.
share with you.
It's big.
When we got to New Zealand, it's actually something that I thought of while we were still in South Africa. Women has always been my passion, and looking after each other. We as women have to look after each other. And when I got here, I wanted to, in the beginning, you struggle yourself. So you have to get into the thing. You have to make friends. You have to adjust. You have to put yourself out there, which was difficult for me. I'm not a person that can just walk into a room and start to chat with everyone. So the adjustment is difficult, but you have to put yourself out there. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to meet people. And I'm so glad I did. I made wonderful friends. Wonderful friends. We really have wonderful friends. And now with the COVID thing, I think our friendship grew even closer because you're not able to see your family. So your friends really become your family, and you get to rely on them, and they get to rely on you. So when we got here after a few months, I was thinking about how can I do something to let the women know that they're not alone. They're not alone in this, although you feel alone. Sorry.
Just playing with the
I'm playing with the
microphone.
mic. But then I just left it again. It's not that easy to just go out there and start something or whatever. And then my one friend from South Africa, we've been friends for 15 or 16 years already, came to New Zealand, and I know her passion is also women and how we can be there for one another. So then I asked her if she would like to get involved and can we maybe do something together. So we started a Facebook page. It's called Labyrinth for Lemonade.
We'll drop the link
yes,
a bit later on all the
and
pages.
I will on another occasion I will explain where the name came from and how we got to the name.
What are you guys going to do?
Yes, let me just get to that now. So now, after COVID, I think the year we've had is just really terrible. The thing is, with the lockdowns and the borders closed, and you're not able to see your family, and you've got no idea when you will be able to see them again. I think that's the thing that's the hardest for us as well. Most people's parents or children or whatever were in line to come to visit in New Zealand, or they were in line to go to South Africa to visit, and that just couldn't happen. So there's a long time that passed that you weren't able to see your family. And we don't know when that's going to end. So it might be another 6 months, it may be another year, it can be very long. So what I found is that most women, probably men also, I don't know, I can't speak for the men, but the women are starting to really kind of get very emotional. We will look at each other and just start crying because we know what we all going through. You don't even have to say, I miss my family. It's just something that it's just there. I don't know, the men, did you also get emotional about that?
Yeah, but we don't show emotion. We men.
You
Ons
do.
Come.
Okay, so being in this situation and being this emotional and not um, dealing with your kids and dealing with your husband while you're so emotional, we thought that we need to give something back to the women. So we are organizing a ladies' morning tea on the 14th of November in Tauranga.
Right here in Tauranga.
In Tauranga. So if you're in Rotorua, Whakatane, Hamilton, or wherever, and you're able to come through for the morning, please do that. We booked a venue, a lovely venue, with seated, we're going to sit around tables. We're going to have a lovely morning tea with sweet and savory finger food. We have organized for speakers for the morning, a psychologist, a child psychologist, financial advisor, and a nutritionist.
I'll be there.
So what we found is that listening to the women over the past year, or more than that, the things that they struggle with, we kind of just got stuck in our heads. So we decided to get someone to speak about that. So the psychologist is just going to speak to the women themselves, how you are dealing with immigration, how you are dealing with adjusting to your new environment, how you are dealing with your mental and your emotional and your physical health while you have to look after your family.
All right, guys, it's going to be a wonderful morning. There's going to be food, there's going to be coffee, there's going to be tea, there's going to be a lot of speakers. It's a Saturday morning for ladies only.
Are you rushing me?
No, I'm exhausted.
Okay. And then the child psychologists are going to talk on how you can help your kids to adjust. There are so many teenagers that's really finding the adjustment really hard, missing their friends and their environment in South Africa. Some of them are very angry to be here, and it's hard for the women to deal with the kids. So I'm going to talk a little bit more on how you can deal with that and help your kids. And then, of course, the nutritionists are going to talk a little bit more on your diet in New Zealand, how you can adjust your diet. The nutrition is quite different in New Zealand, so just a little bit more about that. And then, of course, we're going to have lots of prizes and giveaways, goodie bags. It's going to be a lovely ladies' morning where you can just come and relax. We really want to treat you.
What does it cost?
The seats are $20. It's all going towards the venue and the food, so we don't make any profit.
You can't buy a breakfast for $20.
It is a non-profit event.
You're getting food, getting drink, and you're getting 3 speakers at least.
Yeah. The thing is, me and Karin, we just wanted to really give something back to the women after the year that you've had. We know that it has been a very difficult year, and you deserve to be treated.
So basically, I need to organize a bride for the guys.
Something like that.
All right. If you've got a business in South Africa, if you're South African, you've got a business in South Africa. If you're not a South African, I don't know if there's any Kiwis this morning listening, and you really want to advertise your business here, we're not going to ask you any money to do advertising there. We're asking for a spot price or something.
It's in South Africa.
No. I mean, South Africans that are here, that have got businesses here.
Yes. If you're an entrepreneur and you've got, if you make bath salts or whatever you do, whatever your business is, if you want to sponsor a little something for the goodie bags, and it can be a little sample product, it can be a voucher, it can be a discount voucher or whatever. Or if you maybe want to sponsor a prize, like a big prize, for a lucky draw or something, we would really appreciate it if you can get a hold of us. We really want you to know that we want to put your name out there as well, so you can get some public.
And I've got to say, don't hang around. Don't hang around too long. We've started the advertising 2 days ago. You've got how many people? 40 plus already.
Yeah, we're already there.
And the venue can only hold 100 people.
Yeah, so we can only have 100 women join us. And you are also welcome. If you and some of your friends want to come together, you can let me know, and I will keep a special table open for you so that you can all sit together. It's really going to be a very nice morning. We just want you to relax and have a really good morning.
And we'll have massive prizes there for you. So come and join us down here in Tauranga. Guys and girls, that has come. 30 minutes with Jan has been done. 30 minutes. Listen to me. Thanks everybody who tuned in. Thanks for you being here this morning.
Thank you.
You were getting less nervous every day.
Yeah, I'm not nervous anymore.
All right. Guys, I'll see you all. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.